How's it going, Bulldog fans? It's your favorite Little League dad coaching from the sidelines, Bailey Pulliam. And Mississippi State played their first away series this past weekend against the Long Beach State Dirtbags. That's not me being mean. That's their actual mascot. You can look it up. Mississippi State does end up losing the series 2-1. They ended up losing Friday by a score of 4-0. They win game 2 on Saturday by a score of 9-0. Then they end up losing the Sunday decider 6-2. Kessler does get the start for game 1 with Ginn still being out of the rotation. He ends up with a stat line of 6 1/3 innings pitched. He gives up 4 runs on 6 hits, has 2 strikeouts. I think to be thrown into a number 1 spot in a starting rotation, I think this is a really great stat line. Going 6 1/3 innings is great to see. He has no walks, only gives up 6 hits. That's a really, really positive thing for Kessler here. The Bulldogs give up 2 in the first inning, but then they hold Long Beach State scoreless until the 7th, where they end up giving up 2 more runs. Honestly, the offense just wasn't there for the Bulldogs. They had 12 strikeouts on the day. They only had 1 hit as a team. That 1 hit was from Tanner Leggett as by way of a leadoff single in the 6th. And props to Long Beach State and their starting pitcher Seminaris. He ends up going 8 innings. He only gives up 1 hit, 2 walks, and has 10 strikeouts. There's not much else you can say about that. Moving on to game 2 on Saturday, Christian McLeod was back on the bump for the Bulldogs. He ends up going 5 innings with 1 hit, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. He does pick up the win, and although he didn't have as many strikeouts as we're used to seeing from him in his previous appearances, I think 5 innings on 91 pitches is a great outing, and like I said before, he does pick up the win. Bednar comes in relief and ends up throwing the final 4 innings of the game. He only allows 3 hits. He has no walks and has 6 strikeouts. Pitching was definitely on Saturday, and the bats were there to back him up. The Bulldogs only struck out 5 times as a team on Saturday, which is really great to see from some of their previous losses and their strikeout numbers on those days. Of the Bulldogs' 9 runs, 4 of those runs were in the 6th inning, and then the 4 more of those were in the 7th inning. Rowdy Jordan stood out on the stats. He ended up going 4 for 5 on the day with an RBI. And let's break down this 6th and 7th inning where these runs came from. The 6th inning came together with a pair of singles by Rowdy Jordan and Westberg. Then a triple by Tanner Allen scored the pair, and Allen himself ended up scoring because there was an error on the center fielder. Justin Foscue then gets up to the plate and doing what Justin Foscue does. He ends up hitting a solo home run. So there's your 4 runs in the 6th. The 7th inning included a double for Hatcher, a single for Rowdy Jordan, an RBI sac fly for Westberg, an RBI double for Tanner Allen, an RBI single for Pimentel, and an RBI double for Cameron James. And looking at that play-by-play in the stat sheets, that is amazing. That's beautiful. Anyone that's a baseball fan knows when you can string together hits like that and score those runs and move people around the bases, it's beautiful. Art in motion, 100%. Those 8 runs in those 2 innings, along with the dominant pitching by McLeod and Bednar, were more than enough to take the win. The Dogs end up taking game 2, 9-0. Now we move on to game 3, where Sarantola got the call to the bump. He ends up going 5 innings. He gives up 4 runs, with 2 of those being earned. Gives up 8 hits, has 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. I think it was a good outing. It looks like Long Beach State were just able to get some of those hits off of him as they score 1 in the 3rd inning, 1 in the 4th inning, and 2 in the 5th inning. And at the end of the day, that's not terrible to see. It's just one of those things, right? Sometimes teams just hit the ball, and there's not much you can do about it. The Bulldogs did strike early by scoring 2 in the 1st after a 2 RBI bases loaded single for Cameron James. They just weren't able to find anything the rest of the day. The Dogs had a chance to strike in the 5th inning after 2 hits got runners on the corners with no outs, but then 2 strikeouts kind of got them in a pinch, and then the runner at first got caught stealing. That ends the inning without any runs. And like I said before, it looks like the Bulldogs just couldn't get the hits when they needed them. They couldn't find their way to the plate after the 1st inning. They had guys on third in the 5th inning that I just talked about and in the 6th inning, and they couldn't bring any of them in. The final for game 3 ends up being 6-2. However, the Dogs look to bounce back from those 2 losses this weekend at a midweek game against Southern Miss Wednesday, March 4th at 6 o'clock Central Time. And that game is going to be played at Trustmark Park in Pearl. So that should be really exciting and fun to watch. Thanks you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next one. Peace, guys.